House Calls.
It's time now for House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty.
Keep it here for market insights, featured guests, and answers to your real estate questions.
Here are your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery.
Hey! House Calls, baby, yeah! We are back, and you are tuned into House Calls. 9 o'clock Saturday morning, we are ready to roll. We are weekly look at what's happening in the real estate market, local housing market, how these things affect your wallet. That is what we're going to have a chat about for the next few minutes. I'm Steve, and today, again, we have the illustrious Mark Redden from Holly Insurance. He is a protection advisor. If you didn't tune in last week, I had a hard time with the protection advisor. He kept having to remind me. I got it right this time, Mark.
Yes, you did. I do want to say it's awful early on a Saturday morning to handle all of this enthusiasm.
House Calls, baby. Yeah, we're rolling. All right, let's jump into the real estate market here real quickly. Guys, again, this is kind of feeling like a broken record. This real estate market is continuing to grind along. No real changes when we look at what's happening with the mortgage rates. Depending a little bit upon your own personal history, things have not changed drastically one way or the other. Clicking along there in the 6.2, 6.3, 6.4 range. We look at actual mortgage rates, the average in Virginia. We look at inventory. Guys, inventory is growing a little bit. As we get into the holidays, and hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. As we're getting here into the holidays, traditionally we've seen some things slow down from that standpoint. I do think inventory is growing. Maybe that has more to do with homes staying on the market longer. And so when we get days on market begins to creep up, of course, inventory will creep up as well, just because there's more homes on the market staying on longer. So Mark, if I could, we'll take a minute and just get you to share in your opinion on the 50-year mortgage.
That's a long time to pay on a house. That's a long time to pay on a house.
You didn't wait at all. You didn't build it up or anything. You just kind of went right for it. It's a long time, baby.
I'm thinking about that new home buyer, right? They just got married. Hopefully at Venue 290 in Rocky Mount. Another shameless plug. I do not care to say that. Please check us out, venue290.com, if you want to get married. But, you know, once this couple gets married and they have a kid, your kid's going to be 50 years old before you can burn your mortgage. 50 years old. That's our age, Steve.
Easy now. Easy. Gosh, you came loaded to bear on this Saturday morning here.
That's what happens early on Saturday morning. Hadn't been to bed yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I will say when you think about 50-year mortgage, and if you've ever sat down and looked at an amortization schedule, and you look at the amount of interest that you pay versus the principal, I mean,
Eye-popping.
Oh, my gosh.
Eye-popping.
And I look at we sit down to do a closing at the closing table with a new buyer, and they got that amortization schedule in there, and it's printed off.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of a sudden that loan packet's getting, those pages are adding on up now.
Well, I think my example the other day was it's like the Sears catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
That's my, when we talk about that, that's a big concern. Yeah. I mean, I know that housing affordability has been a big topic. It's a constant discussion as we travel around. Homes have continued to appreciate. This market just continues to get stronger and stronger as far as what those homes are worth. And so I understand it's a way to try to make things maybe a little, that payment's not so big and not so bad. But gosh, I just think about the amount of interest that you got to pay.
I can't even, and I relate it back to car purchases, because a few years back, 5 years was the max. Well, now you can buy a car and have a 10-year note. Most cars aren't going to last 10 years these days. Just to get affordability, I get it, I understand it, I see it, right? Because it does make attainability a little bit easier for folks, right? They can make that monthly payment because it is, but man, you look out over the hood, and that's a lot of interest.
Well, and we're talking about the interest, but if you were to flip side that in the real estate deal, we talk about equity that you got built up in your home, and that's real. That's tangible. You could borrow against. I mean, there's lots of things. But when you think about equity, I mean, everything just slows. So all of a sudden, you're just creeping. I think about Eric Church creeping, just creeping. Not that I know him, but anyway.
Yes.
I just think about how slowly you just begin to get equity into that 50-year. I mean, it's just got to be a snail's pace, and again, people can be disciplined. It's a way to get in the door. And if you can be disciplined, you can double up on your mortgage payments and pay down the principal early. Then, yeah, hey, maybe that makes sense. But to just sit down and just pay the old minimum payment every month. That just feels like I'm just creeping.
Especially where rates are, right?
Right.
I mean, you think about that, and I don't think I could do it.
Well, shameless plug, you do work for Holly Insurance, so all you guys cover just about everything in the insurance world?
We do, yep. So personal lines, obviously, home, auto, boat, RV, motorcycle, anything that you own personally. Commercial property and liability protection. We have a full array of products for all you commercial business owners, as well as life insurance. Life insurance is something that people don't often think about, right? They think about, I don't know what they think. It's definitely not required. Like, you got to have car insurance to put your car on the road. You don't have to have life insurance, but it's so important to have life insurance to make sure that the folks that you're leaving behind are taken care of, right? That they can pay off that mortgage, right? And that we talk a lot about that, since you're talking mortgages. We look at a life insurance policy for a new homeowner as almost mortgage protection, right? Because you can't leave your family there holding a bag for 48 more years on that 50-year mortgage. So please think about life insurance as you're going through your daily thing, and think about all the people that you love and how you would like to take care of them in your untimely.
Great advice. Not necessarily a topic that anybody necessarily wants to talk about all that much, but great advice. HollyInsurance.com if you've got needs. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate, KingeryTeam.com. We'd be glad to help you. We're going to let this fade away into a quick commercial break, and we will be back with the question of the week.
House calls.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, you want someone who gets family, because your next chapter matters.
At the Kingery team, we're not just agents. We are a family helping families.
Whether it's your first home, forever home, or anything in between, we'll walk with you every step of the way.
Local, loyal, like family.
The Kingery team, selling real estate 1 yard at a time. Located uptown Rocky Mount at 195 South Main Street. Give us a call at 540-483-5566. Hey! We're back, baby! Yeah! House Calls. House Calls was segment number 2, here with the great Mark Redden with Holly Insurance. We're going to bring about the question of the week. With you being here again, sort of as a guest, we're going to jump into a couple of things. One question I get a lot is, hey, I just inherited a home. Your mom or dad just passed away, and I've got a home that I'm not going to do anything with for a little while, so it's going to sit vacant. What do we do from an insurance standpoint with a vacant home?
So vacant homes are tough. They're just tough because you have to think about the risk.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you live in your house and you go to work and your house is empty for 8 hours, you spring a leak and you got water going across your floors, the maximum amount of time it's going to leak is about 8 hours, right? Because you're going to see it and you're going to put a stop to it. A vacant home, if you're not there for 2-3 months, that leak is going to happen for 2 or 3 months. So the risk side is so much greater than it would be on an occupied dwelling. So therein lies the challenge for a protection advisor, an agent, to insure that home, right? Because it just makes it tough because a lot of carriers won't touch it. I mean, they won't touch it. Now, I have insured a few houses that were going to stand vacant for just a short period of time, but they were making renovations, okay? And what I'll tell you is have a plan. Mm-hmm. Have a plan to where you're going to be in the home. And if you're making renovations, if you're going to use it for an investment and sell it, then give us that plan, because that way we can talk with the carrier and say, hey, look, this is the situation with this home. It's going to be vacant. They're not going to live in it, but they're going to be in it every 4 or 5 days, making repairs, making updates, doing this, that, and the other. And that way it's going to be much easier for us to get that through the underwriting process.
Best thing to do is just have a conversation, brace a little bit for it's probably going to be a little bit more of a hassle to get it insured, but it's possible.
It is possible. Tough. I don't want to act like it's going to be an easy walk down the street, but it is going to be tougher. And you just need to have a plan. Just have a plan and just show us and let us know that, hey, look, I'm going to be in and out of the house. My wife will be in and out of the house, whatever. We're going to be making repairs. We got, even if you personally aren't going to be there, if you've got contractors in and out of the house, that's super important.
You talked about having a discussion, and we talk about it a lot here, having a good relationship, being transparent, talking with a real estate agent, a protection advisor.
Yeah. Yes.
Having that conversation with your lender, all those things, again, it's important, it's crucial, addressing whatever your needs are and having some success in whatever that goal is. So
100% agree on that, Steve. Just be upfront and honest with us. We're here to help you protect what's most important, right? And just be upfront with us. And like, if you have a change, just let us know what the change is, because, we got to get that covered.
Yeah.
So just call us and let us know.
So other question that I oftentimes get in the real estate circles are, we'll get into someone will purchase a home, generally that they'll get their initial homeowner's insurance policy, and then it comes time to renew and things are going up. The new, let's just say the renewal is a little more than what it was the previous year. So how are coverage limits, deductibles, replacement costs? How do you guys determine those things?
Well, let's kind of start before the renewal. Let's start when we first write the policy. Okay, each carrier, no matter who you're dealing with, has a tool, and it's called a replacement cost estimator.
What is that called again?
Replacement cost estimator.
Okay.
It estimates the replacement cost. I know it's early, but hang with me here. Replacement cost estimator. What we do is we put in all the details about the house, right? What the square footage looks like, how many bathrooms, how many kitchens, because some houses have multiple kitchens, what your flooring is. There's very sophisticated algorithms built into these estimators. Once we input all the information, so that's why we have a bunch of questions, right? We have a bunch of questions for the homeowner. And when they answer accurately, we put them in the system. The system then will give us what the replacement cost is. So that's going to be your coverage A, or your dwelling coverage, okay? And a lot of times we'll hear, well, I could rebuild that house for half of that, right? Well, we can't underinsure a home. So we have to insure the home to value. So if it says $500,000, we have to insure it to $500,000.
Sure.
We talked last week about the loss settlement, whether it replacement cost, extended replacement, or guaranteed replacement. So we'll talk through those options with you. And then we'll talk about how the home, or what the home is covered against, right? Comprehensive perils or named perils, right? And it's best to always look at a comprehensive peril policy, because it's going to cover you for the broadest range of risks, right? Lightning, hail, wind, fire. Those are the things that we're going to cover the home against.
And you're saying perils?
Perils.
Okay. It was very quick. I was making sure.
Perils.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yes. And then, the other question too is like your personal property. How is it covered? Is it covered under ACV, or otherwise known as actual cash value, or is it covered under replacement cost? You want to try to, if you can, get a replacement cost policy for your personal property, because that's going to look at the price of that item in today's market, right? Like if you buy a couch 10 years ago, if it's an ACV, they're going to give you cash for what you paid for it 10 years ago. Replacement costs, they're going to replace it at today's cost. So replacement cost is much better coverage there.
You talked about this, the algorithm, but obviously when we talk about real estate, homes have appreciated.
Yes.
In the last 5 years,
Right.
we've had some significant appreciation.
Yeah.
And so, I think, is it fair to say, I'm no expert here, but, you're putting the information in and you update that. And so when premiums change a lot of times it's the algorithm says, hey, here's where we are. Is that fair?
That is very fair. So that gets back to the root of your first question was at renewal, why did my dwelling coverage go up and why did my rate go up? Well, dwelling coverage is going to go up gradually over time to cover for things like inflation, for example, right? Because we know the cost of lumber 5 years ago is a lot different than it is today. Sure. So that's where the insurance companies or the carriers, they have that algorithm built in to apply a certain amount of a percentage to cover for inflation. Because the last thing the insurance company, and you know, it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing that the insurance company cares enough about you and your stuff to increase that dwelling coverage. Because the last thing you want to do is have a catastrophic loss and be underinsured, like we talked about last week.
That is not a good deal. No, everybody's pissed off then.
Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy at all.
I even catch that every now and then. Oh, yes. Well, we're going to let that wrap things up today on this segment on House Calls, baby. Yeah. Mark, we appreciate you joining us. HollyInsurance.com.
HollyInsurance.com, 540-334-4225.
Take care, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday on House Calls, baby.
Thanks for listening to House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty with your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery. If you have questions about anything discussed on today's show, text us at 276-629-9999. Join us again next Saturday at 9 for more tips, trends, and answers to your real estate questions on House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty and Southern Virginia's country station, B99.9.
House Calls.